Alright, welcome back to Unconditional. Today is actually November 5th. If you're not familiar with the importance of today, I advise you to look up Guy Fawkes. Pretty radical, crazy guy. He had some really cool ideas. Kind of a little crazy way of doing things. But he was trying to get a message across. And in remembrance of him, today is actually the Million Mask March, which has been going on now, I think, for about 5 to 8 years. Part of kind of the Occupy Wall Street movement. And it's essentially where a bunch of people get together anonymously. If you know what that is. If you don't, go look them up. Anonymous. They're a pretty interesting group. There's a lot of different ones out there doing different things in different countries. They're all about pretty much representing the rights of every single citizen on this planet. The 99% of us that are faced with the everyday struggles of life. Oppression from our governments and, big corporations. So that's anonymous, and today's their Million Mask March. I'm sure that if you go online, you're going to see a lot of videos of it, and I think it's a great thing. So I just want to give a shout out to any participants of that. Unfortunately, today I had to work, so that's why I'm here doing this video. We're going to actually talk about a topic that was on my Facebook page. Somebody made a personal comment, just basing their views off of social programs, government assistance programs being taken advantage of. This guy is actually a super intelligent guy. He works his ass off to provide for himself and his family. It's definitely a struggle for him. He's a small child. And there's some other guys that actually added to this comment, and they stated their opinions very well. I think everybody was pretty respectful about it. They were just trying to say that they think it's pretty much malarkey that people don't want to get up and bust their hump to go get a job. And I don't mean that to come off as brash or inconsiderate of these guys' opinions. I'm just iterating their point, and I don't think they'd be offended by that. Here's the thing. In their post, they said a lot of stuff. I'm just going to try to break it down pretty fast. They used some statistics. The only thing I'm going to caution against about using statistics is that you never know what exactly went into that information. You know, they said something about government assistance, 52% of Americans are utilizing it. But what exactly does that entail? Does that mean small business loans, big corporations, student loans, Medicaid, Medicare, Army veterans type services? What all is actually in that statistic? And then the thing is that when somebody comes up with a number like that, you never know what agenda they're pushing. So you have to look further and further into their research and their context and see what is the message they're trying to get across. Essentially what I gathered is that 45% of Americans are only full-time employed. And so with that, I think that we need to start asking our questions, or what are we going to do with the job industry market? Obviously that seems like to be a problem. People don't have enough money to survive on. People that are actually working right now maybe aren't even making enough money. As one of the guys stated, he's working 60 plus hours. Now he's having to seek second employment because he's not making enough money to provide for him and his family. Now that's crazy. That's really out there. I think that what we have to look at is, what is your eventual goal in your life? Where do you want to be? Do you want to own an $80,000 home? If that's what you want for your life, then you are going to have to work your butt off to get that. Because that's that American dream that they're trying to sell you on, right? You can take the red pill, you can take the blue pill. Which one do you want? To me, that's not the idea that I have with living. If I believe I could live in a society where food, water, air, and shelter were the common necessities of life, and everything that you do is to provide those things. Outside of that, in your own individual free time, if you wanted to further educate yourself, then those outlets should be totally open to anyone and everyone. Not if you can afford it, not if you think you're smart enough to do it. Anyone. If you want to go in and take a class somewhere, you should totally be able to do that. Further education for everyone. And that kind of gets rid of the idea of money. So these topics that we talk on, and when I say things like, imagine a society in the future where the common necessities of life were actually given to everyone and anyone at no cost to anybody, it does seem crazy. But that's also because we're looking at it from a monetary value. Something that is a sheet of paper, it's not even paper, it's I think majority cotton. And it's printed up at any time that they need to, need new money. Maybe it looks ugly. Maybe it's outdated. Money outdated. Wonder what they do with that outdated money. They shred it. That's exactly what they do with it. They shred it. All those dollars that you work hard for, they shred it. And then they keep a certain amount in the economy, and that's what helps keeps it flowing. Some of the points he made: $17 trillion deficit. Man, what a big number. $17 trillion. I wonder when they started adding that one up on the calculator. When did we start incurring this debt? When's the last time we were actually debt-free? Unfortunately, I don't have the answer to that. If anybody does watching this video, please post it up. I'd love to know. Here's what I'll say about debt. Is a $17 trillion debt. I wonder how we had calculated that. Is it, social services that we provide, government assistance programs? Is it maybe the 2008 banking financial crisis that we bailed the guys out of because they were too big to fail? Well, that was a big popular thing you heard back then, was too big to fail. What's that mean? Well, what it means is the banks knew that our government wouldn't allow them to collapse because it would mean an economical crisis for us all. So what they did is they went in there and bailed them out. Well, now whose debt is that? It's ours? I don't think so. And if that's the same guys you guys are voting for, maybe we should rethink our democratic process, because I didn't vote for that. And that's not what I believe in. I don't owe you $17 trillion. And I don't think any other American should. There's an idea I'm going to throw out to you guys. David Graeber, I want to say his name. If I'm mispronouncing your name, I apologize, bud. But Russell Brand talks about this guy. And this guy is a super smart guy. He knows all about how economics work and how to break them down. And he proposes an idea called debt cancellation. Wow, man, that sounds incredible, right? Debt cancellation. Get excited just saying it. This is where the idea is, imagine one day you go to sleep, right? You got all these hospital bills, you got a house bill, blah, blah, blah. You wake up the next day, no more bills. It's all paid for. It's all done. You don't owe anything on that. That'd be crazy, wouldn't it, right? I'm sure politicians and other political type people are going to tell you that this is not possible, and if we did such a thing, that it would crash the market. Really? Well, isn't that kind of like what we did in 2008? And we canceled all those banks' debts and was like, oh, it's okay, no big deal. So I really think that these are something that, sure, they don't want to tell you that exists, because then you're going to have to come to the grips with the fact that this dollar, hold on, I got you right here. That this dollar doesn't mean anything, right? That's what that means. This dollar doesn't mean anything, right? I can throw it away, not a big deal. They're just going to print more of it, right? So, $17 trillion deficit, that doesn't bother me. Why? Because it's not my problem. I didn't create this problem. Other people, geniuses complicate things. I'm just going to look at it from the simplest point as I can. The other thing I'm going to talk about is the fact that a livable wage. Guys, man, if you're upset that the fact you're having to get 2 jobs and then these people over here are abusing a system and they're just getting some food assistance and programs like that, maybe you really shouldn't be upset with the people that don't have anything. Be upset with the ones that do have everything. For example, the 6 Walmart areas that have more money than 150 million Americans. I mean, that's a huge number. 150 million. 6 people. We can count them on our hands. 6 people got more money than 150 million Americans. And we're upset about the guy getting some more food stamps. That's what I think we should start focusing on, guys. Livable wage. If you're upset because you're having to go out and get 2 jobs, go to your job and tell them you need more money, because you're not going to work a second job. When you're working 40 hours a week, 60 hours a week, and you need more to help provide for your family because you're lying under the poverty line, that means we need to do a reevaluation, not only on the living wage standpoint, but on our housing. Why has housing got to be so expensive? Why has food got to be so expensive? Why not just make all these things either at a cheaper price or find a way to where the average consumer is not always spending the majority of his money just trying to live? Guys, we can totally separate from this idea, and it lies within us. The other thing I'll say is today was the day after elections. Yesterday was the election day. A lot of people outside standing holding up signs and stuff. It was a really interesting thing to see and be an adult, and I can say I remember when this happened and governors were being elected and stuff, and I didn't vote. I didn't vote for one single thing. Not because I'm lazy, not because I didn't want to, but because of the fact that idea that these guys are going to go in office and they're going to change something because they said the same thing that 4 years ago some other guy said, that nothing ever happened, nothing ever changed. That seems a little bit of, crazy to me. Actually, it seems insane to try the same thing over and over again to expect a different result. So I chose not to do that. And I'll tell you some of the things I did notice during the election campaigns is every commercial I saw, not one of them talked about, here's what I'm going to do for you people. This is how I'm going to change the state of Florida. This is how I'm going to change, you know, the state of Georgia. All these different states, all these different counties and places that were electing officials. You know what I saw? They had their opponent. This is so-and-so, and he's pretty much a douchebag, and you shouldn't vote for him. And my name is Mr. Nice Guy, and I approve this message. Vote for me. And then you know what you see on his competitor's page is, hi, I'm Mr. Nice Guy.